The movie begins with Laura, a young 8-year-old girl, beautiful with a childish face, sitting normally in the lecture, when suddenly her stomach seized with an unnatural pain until she fell to the ground and fainted in front of everyone. They quickly brought an ambulance and took her to the hospital. There, the doctor who examined her found that Laura had not had a bite of food in her stomach for 3 days. She was surprised and said to her, "How is it that you don't eat?" Laura told her very calmly, "I don't have hallucinations. I will bring food." When Laura returned home, we found her alive. With her lover Manu, they agreed with each other to divide the house in half. Laura sat and told him about what happened to her in college and the hospital, waiting for him to comfort her or say a nice word to her, but he did not respond at all. He replied to her and said, "Find yourself another job. I am not ready to bear the household expenses alone." Suddenly, the power went out because Laura had not paid the electricity bill. Manu got very angry and left her. He went to sleep while she was standing alone. She told him, "Don't be upset. I will take care of it tomorrow." Because of the circumstances she was in, Laura decided to work alongside her studies. She sat looking for a job, but all she found were companies rejecting students. She searched the internet and found job advertisements for people over 18. Among these advertisements, a man named Joe, 50 years old, appeared and wrote that he wanted a girl to pamper him. Laura was hesitant at first, and her heart was seized with fear, but in the end, she decided to meet him. The appointment was at Joe's hotel. As soon as he met her, he gave her a paper with his requests on it. It was as if they were playing with each other, and she was taking off her clothes in front of him. Laura was very scared, but she did everything he asked. In the end, he gave her the money, and she left his place happy. Not because of what she did, but because she finally had money. She went to a restaurant and sat down to eat because she was very hungry, as if she hadn't eaten for a long time. Laura liked the situation and started meeting other customers. Once, one of the customers took her in his car to a quiet place and asked her to take off her clothes. As soon as she started to take them off, he suddenly approached her and treated her very violently, without noticing that she was terrified. He did what he wanted and, with complete indifference, gave her her money and threw her into the street. Laura felt a heavy insult on her heart. She returned home sad and broken and tried to turn around and ask Manu to make her feel safe, but he didn't seem to hear her. All that mattered to him was asking her about the rent money. Laura exploded at him and said, "I am selling myself for, I will pay you the rent." He replied to her very coldly, "Do whatever you want. What does money matter?" Laura could not stand this treatment, so she left Manu and went to live with her sister. But there she encountered another problem. Her nephew's noise prevented her from studying and concentrating, so she decided to look for a place to study and chose a nightclub. But the club she entered was full of drunk young men around the tables. A young man named Benjamin noticed the situation, so he quickly stepped in and pretended to be her boyfriend to keep them away from her. After the tension eased, Benjamin took her to his house. There, he got closer to her and showed her a tenderness she hadn't felt for a long time. The next day, Laura went to take some bad pictures. She received the money, but she found it was very little. She was surprised. When she asked the photographer, he told her, "If you want money, find someone else who can give it to you." Laura refused the offer and left him sad and broken. After a while, Laura started to feel that what she was doing was normal, especially when she saw that other girls were doing the same thing. The idea settled in her mind, and she said, "Okay, I will continue." At this time, her exam results came out, and they were better than the previous years. She was very happy and wanted to buy a laptop for her graduation project. Here, she remembered Joe and called him. They agreed to meet again. Laura went to the hotel, and there she found the laptop she had dreamed of in front of her. But as we say, nothing comes for free. Joe began to torture her in brutal ways. But with her determination, she managed to free herself and succeeded in escaping, taking with her the laptop she wanted. She collapsed in her apartment. Then the door was knocked on. Laura opened it and found Benjamin standing in front of her with a bouquet of flowers for her birthday. He entered the apartment and tried to be romantic and bring joy to her. Laura then decided to be honest with him and told him everything about what she had gone through. She was terrified that he would hate her or leave her, but he hugged her and told her that he loved her no matter what. After that, Laura's work started to increase and she began meeting more customers. One time, a man laughed at her and gave her 20 euros instead of 200. Laura was very upset and went back to talk to Benjamin, so he gave her advice. He told her to take the money before she works. One day, Laura was sitting with Benjamin having dinner in a restaurant. Suddenly, she received a call from a customer. Benjamin picked up the phone and got very angry. He shouted at the customer and left the restaurant. When they returned home, Laura tried to calm him down and make up with him, but he told her frankly that he could not bear this situation and asked her not to meet anyone else. However, Laura could not comply with his request because he did not work himself, and she was the one who carried the household and provided for it. Benjamin started to suspect her and decided to watch her until he saw with his own eyes that she was coming down from a hotel with John. He waited for her outside, spoke to her harshly, and told her that she was just a money dog. Laura did not stay quiet. She replied to him and said, "I am the one who pays for you. Without me, you are worthless." At that moment, Benjamin exploded and told her that he was not honored to have her as his lover, and he left her. This shock made Laura decide to quit the job. She went to the photographer and asked him to delete her photos, but he refused and told her to pay money. When she refused, he fired her and threatened that if she came back, he would report her. Laura felt that the world had closed in on her, so she called Joe and told him that she was going to leave the country. Joe offered her 5 hours for 1,000 euros. She went to the hotel, but she was surprised when he took her to his old friends. She finished what they wanted and returned to her room. She found an envelope with 100 euros, but Joe had defrauded her and left her. Laura cried and tried to call him, but he did not answer. From that moment, Laura came to her senses and said that she must change her life. She started looking for an honest job and actually found an opportunity in a simple restaurant. The manager there agreed to employ her for a short period that suited her studies. With time, she proved her competence and was able to establish herself. She graduated with good grades and bought a small apartment to live in. Years passed, and after 10 whole years, Laura became one of the most famous writers in France. And they hosted her on a big program to tell her difficult story, which was full of lessons and how she was able to rise above it all and write for herself in a good way. The movie ends here. Thanks for watching this recap. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to comment below and let me know what movie or series you want me to recap next.